And what came through was this. We have done a great deal of work when it comes to expanding our field. Ever since last fall of 2024, you can go back and look at those Pleiadian energy calibrations for the light body, for the plasma in the light body. And you can see that I also was focusing on that light body expansion. And now it's not about that anymore. We've done that. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to our Activations with JJ August 2025 monthly energy update. Before we go any further, I have a special favor to ask you. I would like you to take a nice deep inhale with me and a long slow exhale, because what comes through in this episode is going to be completely different than any other podcast, and especially any other energy update I have ever done before. You may already be able to feel it, and it is very symbolic of the theme that is coming through. And yes, I said theme and not themes. So I'd like to begin by just allowing you to, again, feel the field, because part of what's happening in the spiritual world, in literally for anybody on the planet right now, is we're transitioning in awareness and we're becoming more omnipresent, which allows us to tune into energy fields. And I had someone in our Lightworker Quantum Mastery mention that word to me, and it was like, yes, that's the word, omnipresence. So it's beyond our typical clair senses that are being activated right now. And I'm sure that you can feel that, because not only is it being activated when we receive, but it's being activated for those of us who are transmitting codes or who are conduits for codes. So beyond what you see on this video and what you've felt before from my podcast, there will be another sense, another type of feeling and perceiving that is connected to two things: this idea of omnipresence and this concept of energy fields. Now, I would love to just dive in to the topic for today, which is obviously the August update, but as I mentioned, it's just one theme. And right away, you know that's different because we typically have 4. And so simplicity is obviously really important for us during the month of August. Now, as simple and as stripped back as August is going to feel, we know that Lionsgate happens. The 8/8 portal is coming. And if you've been paying attention to anything that I've been sending out in my emails or Instagram, you know that this simplicity is there, but there's also still events happening. There's still energies coming through. And I have some theories about that. And it has to do with our theme, which I have yet to say. I'm just kind of feeling like it's that inner child that's like, ooh, I can't wait to tell you what it is. Before I do, again, I want you to take a nice deep breath in and exhale and close your eyes to connect with that extra additional bonus perception that is being developed for humanity. And I'd like to share with you the theme in this field that we're now calling in. And although I had fully planned on having 4 themes going along just as normal for the month of August, like I've done for every other month for the last several energy updates, the one theme that came through is the theme of a sacred pause. And that's why I believe this podcast even feels different from the moment that you pushed play, because it's a field of energy. And I will be completely honest with you. I have attempted to record this more than one time, and the previous times didn't quite get it there. And I wasn't afraid to keep trying, because I knew that even with the weeks that went by as I was waiting to record, I could feel the energy shifting. I could feel myself transitioning through different timelines. And in content creation, it's ideal to prepare your content a few months ahead. And sometimes I do that. But this update, no. We're talking a few days ahead. And so just allowing yourself to feel, to connect with the theme of a sacred pause, to connect with this crystalline frequency, this crystalline field of clarity that is being anchored in right now. And if there's anything that you focus on this month, I invite you to consider focusing on that concept. Now, you may not say the exact words I do, a sacred pause, but anything related to or connected to the idea of crystalline clarity in your life. Now, it was interesting because I had the idea that when I came up with this theme, a sacred pause, and I presented it to our team, that I would just put a halt to everything that I'm doing. And as you can see, if you go on my website, my Instagram, or the links below, that is not the case. There are still events happening. There is still grid work taking place. And so I was sort of confused, to be completely honest with you. I was like, well, why is it the theme a sacred pause, but I'm still doing some of these things? Like, I'm not frozen and, just not doing, I'm standing still. And what I heard from my higher self, my inner wisdom, was this is not the kind of sacred pause that begins on the outside and ripples inward. It is a sacred pause that begins on the inside and ripples outward. So there's no need to fix the external stuff and bring it into stillness. It will naturally happen. But there is an invitation to perceive and become acutely aware of the intention to create a sacred pause at the quantum level. Just feel that. Just breathe. A quantum sacred pause. The grid work that's taking place this month, whether you are conscious or unconscious of it, and whether I know what other grid workers on the planet are doing, other communities are doing or not, we're all really aligned with this concept of the crystalline grid. And it requires a level of stillness, an interior stillness, to hold the 0 point field necessary to fully reactivate the crystalline vaults of Gaia and to fully call in those crystalline connections that will reactivate the entire crystalline grid, not only of Gaia, but this is a galactic undertaking. And so having laid that out for you, the remainder of this energy update is absolutely going to be a full body, full omnipresent taste of this inner stillness as we co-create a field that will support all of us, anyone who listens to this during the month of August, in, around, and through any grid work you might be doing, any places you might be traveling to do grid work, any energies that are coming through, particularly through the Lionsgate portal. It's all about converging in that 0 point energy, in that sacred pause energy. And I will tell you, I have a theory on why this is a focus. And this will be the last thing I share before we go into the transmission. But what came forward in our Lightworker Quantum Mastery, it's not a group mentorship, but that's the best parallel I can give it. It's a circle of template weaving and transmitting and receiving. And in that container, I had drop in, and many confirmed that were in that space, this visual and this parallel of where we're at as humanity, as a collective, and especially as a spiritual community, as what you could call wayshowers, those of us who have agreements and contracts to be outliers when it comes to the evolutionary process of the consciousness of humanity. And what came through was this. We have done a great deal of work when it comes to expanding our field. Ever since last fall of 2024, you can go back and look at those Pleiadian energy calibrations for the light body, for the plasma in the light body. And you can see that I also was focusing on that light body expansion. And now it's not about that anymore. We've done that. You can expand and expand and expand that field, but if you do not have the internal quantum processing capacity and capability to fully integrate, understand, flow what's coming into your field, then there's no point in having that expanded capability. So it's about the hardware and the memory bank, if you want to look at it from a computer standpoint, but also about the processor. So you have your memory and you have your processor, right? So we are in a point of stillness, in my personal opinion, and I invite you to tune in on your own about this, in order to upgrade the quantum processors within our physicality, within our vessels, to bring into balance the energy field with the processing capabilities. And it's almost like we got a little bit ahead of ourselves. And I could feel our incredible, councils of light that are supporting us through this ascension process as humanity. Many are our soul family. And I could feel them say, all right, it's going off a little, like we're leaning one way. It's like, okay, let's get back into balance. So as you navigate this next month and beyond, there's no such thing as time, I invite you to contemplate how you can hold space for stillness, for a sacred pause, for that 0 point energy, and call in through that stillness an expanded capability for your quantum processing equipment within your field. And again, that's my intention as we transition now into an activation, a transmission, and a field co-creation. Yes, you are an active part of this. So I invite you to come into a place where you can get relaxed. This is not a normal energy update, so you may not want to be driving. But whatever you need to do to make yourself comfortable, to make sure your physical body is fully able to receive. I've been noticing that people are sometimes now invited to receive while channeling light codes or light language or doing embodiment practices. So I'm not saying you have to be still, even though we're focusing on stillness, although that could happen. Do whatever you're called to do, whatever your intuition tells you to do. And let's begin. We'll start with, of course, the frequencies, the music flowing through. And just allowing yourself to take those nice deep breaths. Connecting with your heartbeat, connecting with the inhale and the exhale, and connecting with the planetary alignments right now. That's what's coming to the forefront, is the way that the planets are positioned to support this sacred pause, this quantum stillness. And I am by no means an astrology expert, so I'm not going to get specific about it, but I just want you to consider that, either consciously or just through sentience, feeling into those beautiful celestial bodies that are co-creating this experience with us. We're not only traveling through and experiencing a planetary shift in octave, but our entire galaxy, let alone our solar system, our entire Milky Way galaxy is also shifting in its proximity to the great central sun. Yanokuro hinya tokushan ahito koraya nakaraya uturirenya taraya. And we have the Lyran High Council here, the Umrahs. Some of you might have listened to the transmission that came through at the end of July. And just allowing yourself to feel into that golden time template. And I'm feeling that great central sun for our galaxy. I'm feeling our sun, but the great central sun for the Milky Way, and the great central sun for the cluster of galaxies within which we reside. The diamond crystalline plasmic streams of consciousness that are flowing through that particular great central sun from source itself. Just noticing your breath and taking a moment to bring your awareness a little bit more deeply to that quantum space, that quantum field. Allow yourself to get imaginative about it. You may not see it in your third eye, but you may just simply be feeling it or using one of those other perceptory tools that I mentioned are new to us. It's this omnipresence. I also feel the Hathors present, and they are assisting us through what I feel like is a point between the crown and the third eye. For me, it comes right at the hairline, at the very top of the forehead. And I see golden streams of light coming through. And they are expressing their gratitude to each and every person who is here in this field. And although this is occurring asynchronously, as we are listening to this all at different times, scattered throughout the world, our collective intention is actually really making the experience that much more exquisite. And so noticing, maybe if you choose, you're feeling that we are, every listener, past, present, and future, who listens to this, is anchoring throughout the planet this field of quantum stillness, this field of the sacred pause within. And I'm sensing an invitation to gently shift our awareness for a moment to the cells. A week or so ago, in our weekly tea time for the starseed community, we ended up undergoing a calibration for cellular sovereignty. And I feel that that particular calibration was almost a reflection of this other level of sovereignty that we are reactivating, you could say. It's a dormant template collectively for humanity. It's a quantum sovereignty. There are obviously particles and sentience that is smaller than a cell. And so however teeny tiny that you want to imagine that in your quantum field, I always think of the movie Ant-Man because it helps me understand the quantum. But that is the level that we're operating at when it comes to this anchoring in, reactivating of templates of sovereignty. You might frame it a little bit differently. That's okay. And I'm definitely sensing those Lyran guides, with obviously connected to Lionsgate, but there is a Syrian Lyran connection, a golden stream of energy that is connected to our solar plexus, and also sovereignty that is necessary, I would say, or very supportive of this upgrade to our quantum processor. And they're reminding us not to try to feel it in your body like it's beyond being able to notice, like, oh, it's in my heart chakra or it's in my crown. It's like, don't try to define how these templates are being awakened and how this sacred pause, quantum stillness, quantum processor is happening. Don't try to approach it from the mental body, from the conscious mind. Just let it be in stillness. And there's a beautiful golden white flame that the Umrahs, extremely high density, highly evolved Lyran beings of light, that they're bringing. They come to me as almost a white flame energy. And I can sense this coming through and sort of washing over the field. It's almost a purification flame for the quantum field. And it's necessary to use this particular flame. It's a plasmic flame that is so refined as far as matter goes that it's able to, quote unquote, purify our quantum fields, where other elements can't quite do that. I'm seeing scrolls open in our DNA. Scrolls of sovereignty. Freedom, this liberation and freedom is coming through again and again. Ever since I was at the Statue of Liberty in April, and then carrying that forward and weaving it through to Paris, I'm just noticing this theme of liberation, liberty. And the liberation of, I say humanity, in a way that I don't think we fully understand, because it's an inner liberation, just like this is an inner sacred pause. And this stillness and pause from the inside is allowing us to experience a heightened awareness of whatever in our life is not aligned with these templates of sovereignty and liberty in very detailed ways. And this month may not be a time to act on, this is what I'm hearing, to act on the changes that need to be made. This may be the month to simply allow them to unfold, to allow. And they may not unfold until September, October, and that's okay. But for the time being, you are preparing for this ripple effect to facilitate certain events to transpire in your life that will bring you in to greater resonance with your highest timeline, your golden timeline, your crystalline timeline. And this golden crystalline energy is a bridge for humanity. A bridge to quantum sovereignty, to quantum stillness. And what will happen over the next 6 to 12 months is that we will become very aware of these quote-unquote energy fields that are tools for us. They've always been here. We just weren't always consciously aware. But as we become more and more aware of these energy fields, and that sounds like a very simple term, but these are fields that we have not quite had access to collectively up until now. They are fields coming from a different frequency than we've accessed before. And as we do, there will be more collective templates that anchor in to serve everybody on the planet. Whereas up until this point, it's really been the outliers, the individuals. Now it's like, no, this is go time for collectives. And so you will notice your communities shifting. You will notice a general sense of higher consciousness in larger groups. This is what I'm feeling, sensing, and I'm also declaring this because what a beautiful thing to have the ascension journey, the ascension spiral be undertaken by those larger scale groups. The pioneers have done their work. The groundwork was laid, and now it's time to enjoy the fruits as we collectively transition into this golden crystalline age. And it's very interesting that we are now in the 8th month and we're approaching that 9th month of completion, just like 9 months of gestation for a woman. There's definitely an expectation here, not an expectation, but an unfolding, a birthing, coming out of this place of stillness, which reminds me of a woman in labor. And right before you go into labor, there's a phase called transition where you just go very deep inward and you are really calling on that inner stillness to assist with the birthing of the baby. And I get quiet. I've experienced that, and this is that quietness that I'm feeling. So that's a really incredible thing to be able to witness, to hold, that humanity is birthing. We are birthing a new level of consciousness. And before we close, I'd like to just allow the Lyran High Council and the Umrahs to come through with the final light language transmission. Garait nuroko koim garait to korea. Ujan rektariando korea hia. Kuroyam naria. Shuroyana roetia koya. Yamarai tohi ario. Areo. Areo. And with that, we gently close this co-creation, this weaving. The field is still there, but we are transitioning back into our physical surroundings with gratitude and love for all of the incredible support that we've had through this very unusual but very beautiful podcast episode, grid work, field creation. Gratitude for the planets, the celestial bodies, the celestial beings whose alignment is supporting this time of sacred pause, of quantum upgrade, of quantum processor enhancement. Gratitude for our star families, our earth ancestors, the elemental beings at play, the great central sun, our own Solaris. Gratitude for all of the sentience within our quantum fields, within our cells. And speaking of our cells and our physical body, just releasing this music and allowing yourself to shake it out a little bit as we ground. I like to rub my hands together. It tends to assist with that. You can do a little bit of gentle tapping on your body. Wow, my friends. I don't have much to say to follow that up, except to share with you how grateful I am for each and every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm sending you so much love and reminding you that I am you and you are me and we are we. Here's to the sacred pause of August.